Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of your Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 68 to 72 of chapter 2. Tasmadhyasya mahabaho,
Tasmadhyasya mahabaho,
Nigrihitani sarvashah,
Nigrihitani sarvashah,
Indriyani-indriyarthebhyah,
Indriyani-indriyarthebhyah,
Tasya prajna pratisthita,
Tasya prajna pratisthita,
Ya nisha sarvabhutanam,
Ya nisha sarvabhutanam,
Tasyam jagati sanyami,
Tasyam jagarti sanyami,
Yasyam jagrati bhutani,
Yasyam jagrati bhutani,
Sa nisha pashyato munehe,
Sa nisha pashyato munehe,
Apuryamānamachala pratishtham,
Apuryamānamachala pratishtham,
Samudramāpah pravishanti yadvat,
Samudramāpah pravishanti yadvat,
Tadvat kāmayam pravishanti sarve,
Tadvat kāmayam pravishanti sarve,
Sashantimāpnoti na kāmakāmi,
Sashantimāpnoti na kāmakāmi,
Vihāya kāmānyas sarvān,
Vihāya kāmānyas sarvān,
Pumāmscharati nisprihah,
Pumāmscharati nisprihah,
Nirmamo nirahankarah,
Nirmamo nirahankarah,
Sashantimadhigacchati
स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ
नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि
स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So last week we were seeing verse number 69, wherein he says, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam, in that which is night for all beings, Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami, the self-controlled one is awake. As I was explaining to you, there is a difference between something which is unknown to you today, which you can know tomorrow with the intellect. I'm talking about the intellectual knowledge. So something which you know today, which you don't know today, but you can know it tomorrow. But when it comes to the supreme state, the prajna, he is experiencing something which is not possible to be known at all by the intellect. So that is why the yogis, the siddhas, the great masters say that knowledge is not the antidote to ignorance. See, even the scriptural knowledge can be gained in the sense of what you don't know, what you didn't know till that point of time, and then later on you gain that knowledge. So in that spirit, if this scriptural wisdom is gained, then that is not going to make you a sthita prajna. In the Isavasya Upanishad, the master says, one who is in a state of avidya, avidya means ignorance, that person, andam tamaha, means he is in great darkness. Tamaha, means darkness. Andam tamaha means blinding darkness. And then in the very next line, what he says is that, but those who revel in knowledge, vidya, avidya means ignorance. So vidya means the opposite, knowledge. So those who revel, rataha means revel, one who revels in vidya, knowledge, that person, he says, is in greater darkness. Now there you will get stumped. You will close down the book and go away, What is he saying? As I told you, these masters are trying to explain the inexplicable. So they increase the mystery element and take you to that last point, after which you have to jump into the unknown space and you will have to gain the experience. So they stretch you as much as possible. Actually, I think it was Max Muller, who read these Upanishads and he couldn't understand anything because the level is like way too high. They're talking about the subtlest aspects of the world, not of the world, which is beyond the world actually. So what he commented was, this is nothing but the blabberings of humanity in its early childhood. See, only if you understand something you can appreciate it. If you cannot understand anything, then you will conclude that these are all blabberings only. Why is it that it is not possible to understand? Actually speaking, they don't want you to understand with the intellect and conclude when it comes to the highest concept. They want you to go on seeking, because see, ultimately, remember this, God is within you, not outside you. These discourses every Sunday which we are having, the healing, everything is aimed towards aiding your inward journey. See, when you meet a master, initially you may relate with the master externally, but then slowly you will find that the more you relate to the master, a strange thing will start happening to you. Your perception will start turning inward. The awareness about your own self will start increasing. Earlier you may not know what all is happening within your mind, but now you would begin to gain a comprehensive experience of yourself. And that experience will go on deepening till you experience yourself in totality, which is nothing but the infinite. That is the aim, if at all, of a guru. So three things are there. One is what you know. The second is what you don't know, the unknown. We're just coining some terms, known, unknown. And then that which is beyond the known and unknown, which is unknowable, which can only be experienced. So when he says that what is like night to everyone, this Sanyami means the Sthitaprajna, the person who has reached the highest, he knows that what is, you should not immediately take it as that which is known by the intellect. What they mean is that which he has experienced. Every experience which you have today, see, even when we use the word experience, it is limiting. Actually, words fall short here. Any word which you use is not really doing justice to the state, See, when we use the word experience, how you will take it as, what is, an experience for you? Normally, you will either use your physical body, your sense organs to experience something, or you will use your emotions to experience something, or you will use your thoughts to experience something. Isn't it? But when he says experience, see, what is meant by experience here is dropping off the physical body, the emotions and thoughts, that is disconnecting from all these three equipments and then experiencing the infinite. Now, when this is told to you, it is impossible to understand this straight away, because your question will be, if I disconnect myself from the physical body, from the emotions and thoughts, then with what equipment am I going to experience the infinite? That is why the dream and the dreamer waker example was given, See, the dreamer can experience everything with respect to the dream world with the equipments of the dream body, the dream emotions and dream thoughts. But using those equipments, he can never experience the waker. If he wants to experience the waker, he has to drop all his dream equipments and he has to wake up. And when he wakes up, now with what equipment is he experiencing the waker? The answer to that is, the waker experiences the waker. The dreamer can never experience the waker. Similarly, today you are experiencing the whole world with your sense organs, with your emotions, with your intellect. They are very useful in experiencing the world, this world here. But to experience that which is beyond this world, these equipments are not of any use. Then who experiences the infinite? That is, with what do you experience the infinite? The answer to that is Swayam Prakashit. It is self-illuminating. Actually, the more you go into all this, you will become very, very quiet within yourself. Actually, you will stop all arguments with people regarding spiritual matters, because everybody gives his or her view without any experience. A person who has truly experienced the highest, he will never get into any arguments or convincing and all that. And again, when we say experience, it is not the limiting experience which you have with your sense organs or emotions or thoughts. It is that limitless experience. Just as when you go through a dream, you have no access to the waker, and you are experiencing so many things in the dream, and that is what is so real to you at that point of time. See, after you wake up, you say it's a dream. But when you're going through the dream, let us say a tiger is chasing you in the dream. Now that fear, everything which you experience is so real. You become that dreamer, and as a dreamer, you're experiencing everything. And then suddenly you wake up. Now, when you wake up, that experience is something which is way beyond the purview of the dreamer. So, a master functioning in this world is something like, after waking up, let us for argument's sake say, somehow you have the power to re-enter the same dream which you were going through. If you can conceive this, as a waker, now you re-enter the same dream. Now what value will you have for anything? Not only you will not have any value for anything. If somebody asks you, can you tell me who is a waker? Now how can you communicate to that person? If you say the waker is a creator of this dream, now his or her understanding of that will be very, very limited. Anything which you talk, anything which you say, anyway, that person will never be able to understand that. So the only way is you give some explanation and wait for the opportune moment, where you can suddenly shake that person, and the moment that person wakes up, then he gets the experience of the waker. Similarly, what a master patiently does is introduces the sadhana to the student and makes the student do the sadhana here. And in that also the student develops so much of ego. When you do the sadhana, something good happens in your life, immediately the ego comes and clouds the personality. Little bit of money you make, or some desire of yours is fulfilled, which was not earlier fulfilled. The ego comes and engulfs you. So many blocks are there. So the master patiently keeps putting you on track, and he makes you do the sadhana. And as your sadhana deepens, when you're really, really ready, then he wakes you up, as it were, that is, pushes you. It's like, taking the dreamer up the cliff, and then suddenly, let's say the dream guru pushes the dreamer from the cliff. And as the dreamer is falling, suddenly he wakes up. Many times it happens, in the dream. The tiger is about to pounce, you wake up. Some extraordinary experience pushes you to wake up. That is what the real master does. Everything else which he is saying is all actually an illusion, but you still have to follow it, because till you reach that high level, you need to follow every bit of instructions which the master is giving. Now, when exactly you will wake up, that can never be defined. Which experience will awaken whom, that cannot be defined. So in that which is night for all beings, the self-controlled one is awake. That which is beyond the known and the unknown. See, all these verses, as you keep getting yourself exposed through the yogic approach, what will happen is that I told you, you'll become so silent from within, silent not in a tamasic way, but you will truly start seeking the truth deep within you. That kind of a seeking is what the master looks for. When that seeking becomes 100%, you are in a position to wake up, just as the dreamer wakes up. That is why in the Upanishads it is said, "He who seeks God shall find God." But what is that seeking? You need to understand. It is not merely an emotional seeking. It is not just verbally saying, yes, I want to become a Sita Prajna, no, I want to know what the infinite is. It is not all that. The deep quest which you have, actually when you have that real seeking, you will not go about expressing it to anyone and everyone, because you know that that person will not be able to understand. You will quietly keep searching. The relationship with your guru will become so deep. See, according to your level of seeking, you will relate with your guru and receive that much. Supposing your seeking is only 30%, that much you will be able to relate with the guru and receive the energy up to 30%. Supposing you are seeking just merely worldly things. There is nothing wrong in seeking worldly things. But if you stop with that, if you say, I just want some wealth, that's all. Now, it is only that much knowledge, that much wisdom, that much energy which you will receive from the Guru. Nothing more, nothing less. You will get whatever you are seeking. So last week I told you one of the reasons why he gives these mysterious verses, that is where he talks of different aspects of an enlightened person, so that your direction gets set. How does your direction get set? As you begin to study all this and reflect, your understanding deepens. Your understanding that I don't know anything deepens actually. Not understanding about the infinite. And your seeking becomes more focused. You will go through all the experiences of life. You will not leave out any experience. There is nothing to be against anything. See, we generally think a person who leaves a normal way of life and who leads a life of self-denial, now he is more spiritual. There is nothing like that. Whether you have left your home or whether you are living in the forest, both your home and the forest, they are equal aspects of this world. Whether you are at home or whether you are in the forest or whether you are in the Himalayas, wherever it is you are, it does not matter. What dress you are wearing, all these things do not matter. What matters is What are you seeking in your life? You go through all the experiences. You gain wealth, you acquire a wonderful family, you gain success. Sometimes, your goals are not met. You go through your ups and downs of life, but you will go on seeking the highest. So these verses actually make you a seeker. Otherwise, there is no point in studying all this. See, what is the point in trying to explain something which is anyway which is anyway inexplicable? There is a purpose for that, because the more that is done, the more focused you will become in your spiritual path. And when I say spiritual path, again, I am not restricting it to merely doing a particular activity at a particular time and all that. I am talking of in every experience of yours, deep within you, you will only be seeking what is beyond this. You will go through the joys of life, you will go through all the sorrows of life, everything. This is what has been beautifully depicted in the Puranic stories, Like Lord Rama, he went through all the joys and sorrows of life. The experience of the world was complete, but at the same time, there was so much of depth in his perception. So, the two words which are being used here, Nisha and Jagr. Jagr is the base word. The first line he says Jagarti, second line he says Jagrati. Now, when he uses the word Jagr, now generally the word Jagrat is used in the scriptures to mean the waking state of consciousness. You go through three states of consciousness: the waking state of consciousness, the dream state of consciousness when you go off to sleep, and then the deep sleep state of consciousness. So the dream state of consciousness is called Swapna, and the deep sleep state of consciousness is called Sushupti. These are all Sanskrit words which will help you. Now, beyond the waking state of consciousness, beyond the dream state of consciousness, beyond the deep sleep state of consciousness, lies the infinite state of consciousness called the Turiya. Turiya means fourth, the fourth state of consciousness. So these three states you know, but the state of Turiya is something which you don't know. And it's not only that you don't know, it is beyond the intellectual knowing. Now, here he is using the word Jagra, which is normally used to represent the waking state. This is where people get confused in this verse. Many Pandits, they interpret Jagrati as a waking state of consciousness here. And they take it very literally. They say that whenever people are sleeping, he is awake and he is meditating. Those kinds of very superficial explanations they get into. So here the word Jagra is not being used in that sense of how they are denoting the waking state of consciousness. Here Jagru means an awakened one. One who is fully awake. See, when you are in deep sleep state of consciousness, you are completely asleep. Deep sleep means dreamless sleep. Sometimes when you're really tired and you go off to sleep, no dreams, nothing. That is when your sleep is of the highest quality, That is called sushupti. And then you have the dream state. In the dream state, you're partially awake. Your consciousness awakens a little bit, but still you're going through the swapna avastha, the dream state. And then when you come to the waking state, jagrat, now there your awakening is a little more, is much more actually than the dream state. But still you are not fully awake because you are only aware of your finite existence. You know your physical body as a waker right now. You know your emotions, you know your thoughts, all these things you know. But what is the real you, that infinite aspect of you that is totally dark to you today? As he says, Nisha. Nisha means that is night to you. So that is also a state of being partially awake only. But the fourth state of consciousness, which is Turiya, is completely getting awakened. So when he uses the word Jagra, it means complete awakening in this context. That is why don't get confused with the words, See, if we merely do the intellectual, if we stop with the intellectual analysis part, then you'll only keep playing with words. Sometimes he uses the same word to mean opposite things, like here. So through these words, what is he trying to convey? So he is deliberately using the word Jagra. Jagra means getting awakened. So when you are in the deep sleep state, there is zero awakening. When you are in the dream state, partial awakening, little bit you're woken up. When you are in the waking state, you're a little more awake because you are aware of more things, but still that aspect, the real aspect of you, the infinite aspect is hidden, is dark to you. But when you go to the Turiya, the fourth state, that is when you are fully awakened. Jagra. Beautiful word, So why I am mentioning this is, elsewhere, suddenly he may use the same word to mean the waking state of consciousness. That time, if you don't understand the spirit of what he's saying, you will get very confused. Now, he said that this is a state of Sthita Prajna, now he's talking of a limited state, waking state. What is he exactly trying to say? You will get very confused. So the sadhana of, I'm also giving you the sadhana tips as we go along. The sadhana here is to go on increasing your awareness, Jagra, that is getting awakened more and more. Why is it that masters say that you should conquer your tamas? You should never be lazy. You should not do things in a half-hearted way. Anything which you take up, do it fully. Why do they say that? Because the more you practice this sadhana of Jagra, that is being aware, being awake, the more chances you have of unfolding the infinite consciousness from within. Just as a person who is in deep sleep, now what sadhana can he do? How can he become enlightened? When you're in the dream, what sadhana can you do? Nothing. But when you are in the waking state, you have the opportunity to do sadhana, and you go on expanding your state of awakening. If you are asleep, if you are lazy, even in your worldly experiences, then how can you suddenly become awake to the highest? So, last week I told you that from the highest level he knows, he's experienced the Paramatma, which is the state of Turiya, the fourth state. Now, what is a sadhana tip? This is the sadhana tip. You get the tip from the word Jagra. See, Jagra, actually, it means to be awake. It also means to be watchful, to be attentive. So, everything which you do from now onwards, be very, very attentive. Bring your full attention there. This is a practice. I am not saying a person who is fully attentive now is a sthita prajna. No. This is a practice of expanding your awareness. See, mostly what happens is, when you are doing a particular action, there is no awareness at all. Your mind is running elsewhere, and you are your body is there, and you're doing some action, you're talking or you're listening, your attention is not there fully. Now here he is saying Jagra in its fullest sense, that is a person who has fully awakened. As a first step, you need to gather your mind, your attention from elsewhere and start focusing on whatever you're doing. This is a practice. This is a sadhana of Jagra which you need to master. See, how is it that this person has become a Sanyami? Sanyami means one who has achieved self-mastery. He has deliberately used that word Sanyami here. See, later on he uses the word Munihi. There is another significance. We'll see that when we come there. The word Sanyami means one who has gained mastery over himself or herself through proper efforts. So what is the effort which you need to put to become more and more awake? If I told you this, become more and more awake, you would have just laughed. You would have said, what are you saying, sir? I should be more and more awake means, now what should I do? So it means become more and more attentive, more and more watchful in whatever you're doing. Half the time you are not even aware of what you're saying. 99% of the things which you're doing are actually not based on awareness. In the West now they have brought in a new word called mindfulness. Mindfulness actually means Jagra. The lower application of Jagra is mindfulness. Mindfulness means, what they mean is that watchfulness, doing things in a conscious way, in a mindful way. Not keeping your consciousness elsewhere and doing some action here. Start practicing this from this moment onwards. Right now itself, you are listening to what is being said. Now bring your attention fully here. After this experience is over, when you are having your breakfast, again practice the sadhana of Jagra, Be fully awake as much as possible. Be fully attentive, watchful, and have your food. What is most interesting is, when you practice this Jagra in life, when you become more watchful, then automatically when all your actions, your speech, your emotions, your thoughts, everything will start getting purified. Because when you're very, very watchful, you will not eat something which is harmful to you. There was a man who came to me. This happened many, many years back. He was a chain smoker and he was unable to get out of that. And I asked him, how many cigarettes you smoke a day? He said around 70 or 75 cigarettes a day. That was his state. So how do I get out of this? It was very, very difficult, because he ends his day, before he goes to sleep, he takes a last puff and then goes out to sleep. As soon as he wakes up in the morning, first thing, he again lights a cigarette. His life had become centered around smoking. Now, how can you say, now don't smoke, means from next day onward, how can he stop smoking? Very, very difficult. So what I told him was, as a first step, now as you are smoking, become fully aware of your smoking. It is the same principle of Jagra, become fully attentive. Don't think of something else and don't keep smoking. And of course, very many other practical tips I had given him. I said, cut your cigarette into half. That is, instead of smoking a full cigarette, cut half a cigarette and throw it away, light the remaining cigarette and start smoking. That way, the very next day itself, his smoking got actually effectively reduced from 70 to 35, 50% it got reduced. Many practical tips were given to trick the mind, so that without too much of frustration, first the goal was to bring the smoking level to a manageable level first. But through that process, I told him, be very, very attentive to what you're doing. Now he started becoming more attentive, and after a week, he came and told me that when he started becoming very watchful, after a while, his consumption of the cigarette, that is the quantity, started reducing on its own. He asked me, how is that? I said, you forget the logic of it, just keep practicing that. A time came where, when he had that urge to smoke one day, he picked up the cigarette and he said, now do I really need this? With so much of attentiveness, with so much of mindfulness, watchfulness, awareness, when he picked up, is this really the purpose of my life? That thought came to him so strongly, he dropped it. Actually, he didn't drop it. He outgrew smoking, and thereafter he never took up to smoking and all these kinds of addictive habits, That is the power of Jagra. It can actually help you to bring out your true potential. And your real potential is what he's talking here. It is becoming one with the infinite. That is your highest potential. But you should start from wherever you are. So from the highest standpoint, the Sthita Prajna is a fully awakened one, Jagarti Sanyami. One who is 100% awakened. You are also a Sthita Prajna today, but the percentage is less. A waker is also awake. A dreamer is also a little bit awake. Deep sleeper is almost nil. So go on increasing the percentage of your awakening. The sadhana, the yoga sankirtan sadhana which you are doing every day will help you to awaken your consciousness more and more. The empowerment programs which we are having is only meant to awaken your consciousness more and more. See, when you get empowered by your guru, that is when this awakening process gets speeded up. You can do it on your own also, but that's going to take a very, very long time. And in that long period, some block here and there or some temptation here and there can always pull you off the path. So make use of all this, but your ultimate goal is to become fully awakened, like a fully blown lotus. You are like a lotus. You have taken this birth to become fully awakened. The purpose of your life is not in mere small enjoyments or small achievements. Do all that, fine. Play about with all that. That is also your relative purposes. But your real purpose in life is to bloom like a lotus and become an awakened one, to reach the state of Buddhahood. The word Krishna and the word Buddha actually mean one and the same. Krishna means dark. Buddha means one who is awake, the awakened one, You may ask me, sir, aren't they opposite? Externally they look opposite. That which is dark to you today, the fourth state, when you get awakened, that becomes known to you. That is Buddha. So from the highest standpoint, Buddha, Krishna, all masters are one and the same. All the paths actually lead to this one supreme goal. Unfortunately, due to a misunderstanding, it's sheer ignorance, of the real purpose in life, that so much of fight is going on in the name of all these great masters, in the name of religion. There is actually nothing really to fight about, because all these masters are only talking about the inner awakening, the ultimate inner awakening. In the future, we will have specialized empowerment courses on this inner awakening, where to become, to expand the consciousness. More preparation is required. That is why I'm taking it slowly. I don't even know whether those things are possible online just like that. But at the same time, I'm not ruling out the possibility, because so many things which we thought it's not possible online, I found that people, the many qualified people, qualified in the sense those who were ready, were able to receive the energy online so well. So we'll see in the future. So, tasyam jagarti sanyami. So if you want to become a sanyami, a person who has achieved self-mastery, the clue is in this word jagra. That is the sadhana which you need to do. And when you go on expanding your awareness, your consciousness, suddenly you will find that you are not this limited person anymore. See, your consciousness today is limited. It's limited by the various equipments like the physical body, like the mind, the intellect. But beyond all this, when your consciousness expands, you experience the turiya, the fourth state of consciousness. When you're with a master, the master gives you the glimpse of that, a little bit, through the meditation. When you do it on your own, you will not be able to get that glimpse. But when you surrender to the higher, when you surrender to the higher Shakti, then you can get a glimpse of that. And those experiences will be very, very motivating for you, will be extremely useful for you to pursue your path, to be consistent in your sadhana. So this sadhana of Jagra, which I am explaining to you, that gives you the highest experience. It also gives you whatever success which you require in the world, because anything which you do with a lot of awakening, awareness, you will do it perfectly. And when your efficiency in action goes on increasing, the results of those actions will be more productive. So this is a beautiful formula, beautiful sadhana. A person who practices this will get worldly success. He or she will also grow spiritually and get spiritual success. This is what he says later on, in the 9th chapter. Actually, that's a very central verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita contains 701 verses. That is exactly the central verse, 358th or something like that. In that, he says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. Means single-pointedly just think of me. Me means there the infinite, the supreme, the state of turiya. Single-pointedly be focused on the highest. I will give you yoga, I will give you kshema. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyam. I will give you yoga, means spiritual success. I will give you kshema, the worldly prosperity also. So again, people have misunderstood that verse. They are thinking that just because I go and pray to God, now I will get all the wealth in the world. It is not that. Being focused on the self, being focused on the infinite means, see, when you're focused, you will start becoming more awakened. The Jagra element in you will start getting awakened, will start getting activated. And when your consciousness starts expanding, your focus, all your powers will start increasing. With that, when you function in the world, you will automatically attract worldly success. And since you are doing the sadhana in a focused way, you will reach this. You will also get spiritual success. Very powerful verse. When we come there, we'll see that. So, in that which is night for all beings, the self-controlled one is awake. So the key word which I have explained to you today is Jagra, being awakened. So when you expand your consciousness, how does it move? What happens to you? That is something which you should know. First, when your consciousness is very, very restricted, it is very, when you're at a low level of development, it will be confined only to the physical body. You will think you are this body, nothing more. As your consciousness starts expanding, now you will begin to understand that no, you are something more than this body. The breathing is happening, the breath is there, and beyond the breath, the pranas are there, the life force energy. Beyond the pranas, the emotions are there, various emotions I am feeling, and then the thoughts are there. So as your consciousness starts expanding, you begin to become aware, become attentive about the various aspects within you. And then a stage will come where you will begin to realize that you are not this physical body or the mind or the intellect. These are all equipments which are being used. You are that consciousness. The Jivatma. Jivatma means the individual consciousness. So last week I had explained to you how this enlightened person has become one with the Paramatma. That is a fully expanded consciousness. You cannot move from 0 to 100 like that straight away. You will have to gradually move. So as you start expanding your consciousness, first you will be very much physical, then you will start accommodate, you will start seeing yourself as a person with a lot of emotions, thoughts. Your understanding about yourself will become better and better. But then the first milestone which you need to reach in this inward journey is when you actually experience yourself as a Jivatma. Jivatma means individual consciousness. I am not this physical body. I am not the emotions and thoughts, but I am the Jivatma, the soul, the individual soul who is using these equipments in my journey of life. See, that is a big shift in level, big shift in perception. Once you experience yourself as a Jivatma, then there is much more to it. You go on further, expanding your consciousness, and finally you merge with the Paramatma. When the consciousness is 100% awakened, expanded, then you are one with that Paramatma, the infinite self. So your first milestone in the sadhana of Jagra is to experience yourself as a Jivatma. The sadhana which you're doing, the empowerment courses actually will really help. See, the sadhana, daily sadhana which you're doing will go on preparing you, and as you are prepared for the higher and higher practices, during the empowerment, when the higher Shakti is invoked, you will be able to grasp, you will be able to absorb it fully, So what is the difference in this perception? See, when you are seeing yourself as a body, and when you are seeing yourself as the Jivatma, that is the individual soul who is occupying the body, that is the difference, very big difference. Because the moment you experience yourself as a Jivatma, then the fear which you have about death will instantly vanish. See, today, if I were to ask your birthday, you will give me some date. Now that date, year and all that which you're giving is the birth of your body, of this body. But it is not your true birthday. Now when you experience yourself as a Jivatma, and then when I ask you what is your birthday, you will say, I don't know. So when you are experiencing yourself as a body, limited consciousness, you were born you were born on a particular day, and when the body drops off, that is what you call as death. But when you experience yourself as a Jivatma, now when the body is born, you are actually not born. When the body is dropped, you actually don't die. It's not only with respect to you, it's with respect to others also whom you're moving with. Your soul is actually going through the life journey, and when I'm saying life here, I'm not restricting it to this birth. All the so-called births which you have gone through, it's like a train, so many compartments are there. You sit in one compartment for a while, and then from this compartment you move to the next compartment. So the compartment has been changed, but you are still remaining the same. Similarly, you drop this body and then you pick up another new body, but you as a Jivatma, you are continuing with your journey. So a master does not see life in a restricted way, as where you are born, when this body is born and when this body is dropped. He sees the larger picture, that is the entire journey of the individual soul. I want you to absorb this, because the more you absorb this, all your fears will go away. See, the deepest fear which anybody has is the fear of death only. Even during this pandemic time and all that, why do you fear the so-called coronavirus? Have you ever even seen the virus? No. Then what is there to fear? The fear is, what will happen to me? Will it cause death to me? It is actually the fear of death which is the root fear. And on top of that, many other fears also come up. And when you are afraid about your near and dear one, again, it is a fear of death only. So when you conquer that fear of death, you will conquer all other fears. How will you conquer the fear of death? When, as long as you think that you are the body, you can never ever conquer the fear of death. Because your beginning is a body, and when you drop the body, that is what you call as death. But through sadhana, when you start identifying yourself with the Jivatma, the individual soul, you start experiencing yourself as the individual soul who is using this body. And once this body is no longer required, you will drop it, you will take up a new body. Now, the so-called death will no longer frighten you. Similarly, when a person passes away, you will understand, however near and dear that person is to you, you will clearly see that it is his or her Jivatma which is going through the journey, the entire journey of life. And in that journey, from this compartment, now that person is going to move to the next compartment. This gives you a tremendous clarity in in terms of what is your purpose in life. See, in order to gain clarity, you require more data. If your data is very less, how can you have clarity? If your data is only when you are born in this birth and when you're going to die in this birth. If that is the data with which you're going to function, you will not have the full clarity about life. So a master who has gone beyond all this, who is not at the Jivatma stage, actually he is at the Paramatma stage. Now he tells you first, from this very, very limited perception, move to the next level. It comes through sadhana only. And when you move to the next level, he expands your view a little bit. Listen, whatever you're thinking as your starting date, which is the starting, the birth of this body, is not your beginning. And when you drop this body, that is not your end. As a soul, you were existing before you were born in this body. As a soul, you will continue to exist after you drop this body also. So when you start seeing that, seeing yourself as a Jivatma who is traveling in this long journey of life, then the question will come to you, what is it that I am seeking? What is my purpose? When you see your life as merely, this life alone, that is with respect to this body, then your seeking will be very, very limited. So, when he says, in that which is night for all beings, from the highest level, we saw the state of Turiya, the fourth state is not known to anyone. But from a relative level, what is known to you is your physical body, whatever is external, physical body, little bit of your emotions and thoughts and all that. But what is not known to you is your Jivatma, your individual soul. And again, we are not talking of an intellectual study of it, but through sadhana, you should start experiencing this. The Guru is there to help you to experience that. Actually, that is the first milestone, the first real empowerment. All the other empowerments are small empowerments leading to this first major empowerment, which will be getting initiated, getting empowered into the sadhana of experiencing yourself as a Jivatma. And that itself you will find is, it is something which gives you a lot of freedom. As I told you, you will start looking at life itself in a much more mature way. You will not waste your time in petty quarrels and in petty things, You will start using your time in a more productive way, something which is useful for yourself and others. You will start becoming more focused. This is what my purpose in life is. These are the goals which I want to achieve. As a Jivatma, what do I want to experience in this life using this body? All those goals you will start now achieving. So, from a relative level, the Jivatma is not known to everyone, whereas in that this person is awake, means he is aware of that. So the Jagra happens in stages only. It doesn't happen at one go, not from 0 to 100. No car can turn at right angles just like that. It has to gradually only turn. As Ramatirtha said, you cannot become a Buddha overnight. It will happen gradually. So in that which is night for all beings, the self-control one is awake. The key here in understanding this is in that word Jagra. When I say key, from a sadhak's point of view, because when you understand that word Jagra more and more, you will also understand the sadhana part. The sadhana is in expanding your consciousness. The sadhana is not in gaining more knowledge of the Vedas. That is why somebody has asked me this question. It was put in the YouTube section. Is studying the Vedas, is it mumukshatva? Mumukshatva means the desire to liberate yourself from all these limitations. No. Studying the Vedas is not the desire for liberation. They are two different things. There are professors also who study about the Vedas merely as an external research. Real mumukshatva or seeking is wanting to expand your consciousness. Just because you gain knowledge of the scriptures, it doesn't mean your consciousness has expanded. You may have gained more information, that's all. That is the difference between going to a guru and going to a professor to gain knowledge. They are two different things. Unfortunately today, people are thinking that going to a guru for spiritual evolution is like going to a professor for learning some subject. No, they are two different things. You cannot compare those two. A guru's role is to help you expand your consciousness. He may use so many tools. Sometimes he may use the tool of bhajans. Sometimes he may use the tool of some mantra. Sometimes he may use the tool of silence. Sometimes he may use the tool of knowledge. But all these things really don't mean anything. What actually matters is whether your consciousness is expanding, whether that awakening is happening from within. What were you last year? What are you now? If you've been following this, if you've been doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, following these Sunday discourses, you will find that you're not the same person anymore. It doesn't take even 1 year. Just a few lectures are enough. The awakening process will start happening from within you, because these lectures are not merely intellectual lectures. This is the yogic approach. It's energy based. There's a lot of invoking of the higher energy which is being done in the background. That is why. So we'll stop with this here. Very, very powerful, isn't it? In case some of you find that it is very high, don't worry, there is nothing high or low. You see, this is your birthright. Ultimately, you are the infinite. You will find that all these things you're able to understand, but you're also not fully clear, Yes, that will always be there. Till that full awakening happens, you should maintain that feeling. Then only you will progress in your sadhana. Before we do today's meditation, we will do that. I will just little bit, I will increase the energy further to trigger that awakening process from within. In the real empowerment courses only, I'll be teaching you the full sadhana of awakening. But here I will initiate the process so that you can start practicing these things with greater ease, So we'll do that. Before that, I will just take up a few questions. First question is from Vinduja Menon. She has put it in the YouTube comment section. That is last Sunday. She says, Hari Om Yogishri, thank you so much for the session. For most parts of the session, I was feeling very confused and lost. Maybe a major part of it was beyond my understanding. To be confused and lost is the first sign of wisdom. If you had said, I understood everything which you said, Yogishri, I would say something is wrong. So it's a good sign only. That is the whole purpose of this verse, to increase the mystery element. Then she has asked this question: if we are happy about small things we achieve, does it mean we have ego? It's a very good question. See, from the highest standpoint, everything is ego only. So when such verses come, when that context comes, when I am talking from the highest level, certain statements will be made. Now use those sessions to increase your inspiration in order to do your sadhana. More than that, now don't start applying it at a lower level. So from the highest standpoint, even the desire to experience the infinite itself is ego. Because you are saying, I want to experience the infinite. You are separating the infinite from the I. That is ego only. But that is only from the highest standpoint. From the lowest standpoint, it is encouraged. Increase this desire, develop this desire of wanting to experience the infinite. That is the very meaning of mumukshatva, no? So there, if you ask, didn't you say that it was ego? Yes, that is only from the highest standpoint. So these sessions now, it is not only this verse, the next verse and all that, I am also bringing it down a bit and giving you a lot of practical tips. But beyond a point, it's very difficult. These are like Upanishadic level verses, no? They talk about the highest truths. So when such sublime ideas, sublime concepts are being given, just absorb them as they are, and don't apply them at a lower level. For how you need to apply the sadhana tips also I am giving. Take those up and start practicing. But when it comes to these very, very high level statements, just absorb them as they are. That will inspire you for you to do your sadhana. So small things, if you feel happy, is it ego? From the highest level it is ego, but that way everything is ego. But from the relative level, feeling happy about small things is not ego. It is actually, it will make you more happy. So always determine the level, the context of a statement before you apply it. There is nothing to be confused about. The confusion is because you are not placing the context. When a statement is being made, first understand in what context that is being made. So in one context I will say, now develop the desire to experience God. In another context I will say, drop that desire to experience God. That is from the highest level, because you are God already. Why are you separating yourself and why are you saying, I want to experience God? Now, which of these statements, between these two statements, which one is right? Both are right. It depends on the context only. So sometimes I would say, now start becoming happy about small things. Increase your self-esteem, self-confidence. Those are all practical tips which you need to follow. Now suddenly I may say, self-confidence, what is there to be confident about? It is after all these small achievements, whereas you are the infinite. That is from a further higher level. So when you understand the context, then you can easily, you will be able to place it and decide whether you're going to practice it now or whether you're going to use it for inspiration. Whatever statements are made from the highest level, use them for your inspiration. Whatever statements are made, instructions which are given from your level, use them to for your personal practice. This way, there will be no confusion. Is it clear? This question will be very useful for other sadhaks also, because you should not lose your self-confidence in life, because these verses are so powerful and we are using the yogic approach. Last week itself, I found that all of you were very inspired. I could sense that energy. So this week, that's why I further increased it a little more, the energy. You would have experienced that. But use all that to become more inspired for you to do your sadhana better. Don't see, when the awareness increases, your awareness about your negativities will also increase. So don't lose your self-confidence because of that. If that happens, immediately go back to the practical principles which were given. This is very important for all the sadhaks. One more question I'll take up. Neha from Mumbai, she has asked this question about how to change the center. I'm not reading the full question, it's a long question, but basically the question is how to change the center. She says, I'm able to see that my center is this. How to now change my center? It is not only Neha, but many other sadhaks have posed this question in the last few weeks. Having determined that this is my center, now how do I shift it inwards? See, if you do your sadhana regularly and if you're devoted to the Guru Shakti, if you are attending all the empowerment programs, every Sunday session and the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, all this put together, gradually over a period of time will automatically start shifting your center from external things to within you. Now one tip alone I'll give. Supposing, let us say, you have mentioned that your center is that thought that I want to go and settle down abroad. Abroad means, since you're in India, you're saying USA. Some other country means they may say something else. But going and settling in some other place. Now, what you can do, that this process which I'm giving you will help you shift your center. Not only with respect to this center, any other center which other sadhaks may locate also. That is, split it down further and ask yourself, okay, if I go and live abroad, what are the experiences which I am seeking? Will those experiences give me any extra happiness than what I am experiencing right now? Just ask yourself these questions, split it down. Okay, here I am driving this car, I am going on this road, I am living in this flat. Now if I go there, I may drive a better quality car. The road may be more smooth. I may be living in a bigger house. Now all this is fine, but as a person, as an individual, am I going to be more happy there? This is what you need to ask. Now the first answer will be yes, that will give me happiness. Actually the mind feels that that center gives it happiness. That is why it is pegging on to that center. But just start probing. Okay, happiness means how long will I be happy? Does it mean that all the people who are going through that experience are very happy and satisfied? So when you start asking these kinds of probing questions to yourself, it will help you gain this wisdom. The day you understand that happiness is not in going to that place, but happiness is right now, here only, wherever you are. The moment you understand that, it's like a spark, which you will get. The moment you gain that wisdom, instantly you will find your center will shift. So this small tip you practice, that is, start probing into your own centers which you have located. So the psychology is this only. Your mind today is not happy where you are, but your mind feels that if I go there, I'll be happy. Now question it. I'm not saying reject it, because if you straight away reject it, you will get frustrated. But just question it. Which aspect will give me happiness? And will that how long will that happiness last? Is that happiness actually in that place, or is it in the mental value which I am giving to that place? These kinds of probing questions when you start asking, then that will help you to shift the center. Okay? With this small tip, now we will do the meditation. Gently close your eyes, relax completely. Do deep breathing. Breathe in a very, very relaxed way, but with full awareness. With every breath, I am becoming more and more attentive, watchful, with every breath, I am becoming more aware, with every breath, I am becoming more and more awakened. I am not this body. I am the Jivatma, the individual soul who is residing in this body. I existed before this body was born, I will continue to exist after this body dies. The purpose of my life journey is to experience the best of best in this world and become one with the Paramatma, the infinite consciousness. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today, in the meditation session, I had taken you very deep and triggered this awakening from within you. So after this, you will find that it will be easy for you to practice the sadhana of Jagra, being more attentive, watchful, alert, doing things in a more awakened way. That is something which you all need to practice. The very purpose, the ultimate purpose of your life is to become fully awakened. You have been traveling through many births. Only to experience this awakening. This awakening is possible only through the yogic approach. It is a very deep process, inner process. From your side, whatever sadhana tips are being given, my request is practice them and keep doing your sadhana diligently, sincerely. In spirituality, we are always rewarded for our sincere efforts, sincere, consistent efforts. Don't try to impress anyone, especially don't try to impress the Guru. This is all a waste of time and energy, you know. And one more thing is, I had put this word of caution last week itself. This week it is more so applicable. Today's discourse was very deep and powerful. It would have shaken you up. So be careful. Don't lose your self-confidence because of all this. If you do the sadhana part properly, you will only increase your self-confidence. See, feel very good that you're exposed to all this first. And number two, don't lose your practicality. Don't start dreaming about all this when you have other duties to do. Do everything properly in your life. If you have a family, take care of your family to the best of your ability. If you're working somewhere, put your heart and soul in that and work. That is the practice of Jagra. Do it in a spiritual way. And whenever you get time, you can soak yourself in these thoughts, in the higher wisdom, apart from your regular Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. But don't shirk your duties in the name of contemplation of these higher truths. That will not get you anywhere. So that balancing is of utmost importance. Okay, this is, please take it very seriously, this word of caution, because these, whatever wisdom I'm giving you is so powerful that there is a chance that you may slip into becoming dreamy in the name of spirituality. Actually, if you want to grow spiritually, you should not keep dreaming. You should become more awake. Okay, so we'll meet next week. Thank you very much. Hari Om.